What if I told you there was a cult that based their beliefs off of a Stephen King book? Welcome to the basic facts of the Nebraska witch cult. Let's start with Aubrey Trail claims to be a vampire. In 1966, Aubrey Trail would be born into an abusive family where he would grow up in poverty, then later be put into foster care. By his teen years, Trail would begin to rack up a criminal record with an armed robbery charge sending him to juvenile detention. By his adulthood, Trail would have a criminal record that would span across several states, but mostly for forgery and passing bad checks. Around 2017, Trail would meet a single mother named Bailey Boswell on a known trafficking website where the two would strike up an unusual relationship. By June of that year, Boswell would move into Trail's basement apartment in Wilbur, Nebraska. Later on, prosecutors would state that Boswell was looking for a sugar daddy. Although Boswell never denied this, she stated that the money was a manipulation tactic to get her to move in. And after she moved in, Trail would begin to abuse her and even threaten to kill her daughter if she left. Shortly after moving in, Trail and Boswell would make numerous Tinder accounts using Boswell's picture to bring more women to the group. It's unknown how many women were brought into this group, but one former member stated that when she met Trail, he told her that he was a vampire and that he could fly and read minds. Kill bags. Among the things that Trail told these women, he also stated that he already had a coven of 12 witches and that they could be the next one. He also told them in order to obtain their power, they had to murder someone and breathe in their last breath. But if they wanted even more powers, they were to torture the person first. And if that didn't convince them to join, Trail would promise to pay their car payment, rent, and put them through school. And there were a few rules, including one where they had to stay one night a week at Trail and Boswell's apartment and be naked the entire time. They also had to engage in any sexual activity that Trail and Boswell wanted from them. And if members were away from the apartment, they had to call Trail every 3 hours to let him know what they were doing and where they were. One former member stated that when she broke one of these rules, Trail choked her with a belt and hit her in the head more than 10 times. Members would be forced to work at Trail's antique business, which he ran out of antique malls in Lincoln and Omaha, Nebraska. One former member would state that Trail had told her all the antiques were stolen and that he conned people out of money. After joining the group, members stated that Trail and Boswell would constantly talk about torturing and murdering women and even would target random women in public. They also stated that the two would keep kill bags in their car that contained sauna suits, pliers, and hammers. Sydney Loof is reported missing. Former members stated that Boswell would constantly test members' loyalty by stating that she wanted to kill Trail, just to see who would go along with her plan. One former member stated after she was finally able to leave the group that Trail told her if she told anyone about the group, he would murder her entire family. On November 11, 2017, Boswell would connect with a 24-year-old named Sydney Loof on Tinder, and the two would go out on a date together. Just 4 days later, Loof would go out on what she thought was a second date with Boswell, but instead she would be murdered by Boswell and Trail. The next day, when Loof didn't show up for work, her family reported her missing. Trail and Boswell are charged with murder. It would be a friend of Loof's that knew that Loof was going out on a date with Boswell, who would take to Tinder to connect with Boswell, obtain her cell phone number, and then hand it over to police. Police then would follow the cell phone pings of Boswell's cell phone, which on December 4th and 5th would lead them to the dismembered remains of Loof, which were scattered across Clay County, Nebraska. Oddly enough, when Trail and Boswell were publicly named as suspects, the two took to a Facebook group that was put together by Loof's family while they were searching for her and posted a video declaring their innocence.
This is Aubrey Trail, and this is Bailey Boswell. I guess y'all also know her as Audrey. But we've spent the last few days watching ourselves being slammed and crucified in the newspapers and the news and everything else, so we thought it was time we had our say. We're not trying to defend anything. We're not trying to make you believe anything. We just feel we should get to say our side since everyone else gets to say theirs. Unlike the Lincoln Police Department and Saline County Police Department and all those folks, everything we're going to tell you, you're going to be able to pick up the phone or have a newspaper pick up the phone and very easily verify it. I am going to talk for a minute, then Bailey here is going to tell you about her 2 dates with Sydney, and we'll go from there. The Lincoln Police Department apparently wants everyone to believe that we're hiding, that we haven't talked to them, that we're avoiding them. Actually, we've spoken to the Lincoln Police Department a couple of times. We also, through my attorney, Doug Mertz in Falls City, Nebraska, please verify, we both wrote long statements and sent to the Lincoln Police Department telling them everything we know. We also, the day before Thanksgiving, which would be the 22nd, we repeatedly called the Lincoln Police Department when they were trying to contact us. After about 10 phone calls, please have a newspaper, ask for they record everything. We were told to quit blowing up their phone, even though we told them, hey, do you understand that we're the people you're looking for? They said, you've called here several times, we will get back to you when we can. So that's how that went. They're telling you that they have all these leads, that Sydney was last seen in Wilbur and such. What they're not telling you is that we are the two people who gave them all these leads. I called the Falls City Police Department because they went to my ex's house and looking for me, so I called to find out what was going on. Apparently, they did not know my address in Wilbur. They thought I still lived in Falls City. I talked to the sergeant there. I told him what my address was in Wilbur. That night, they went to my house and searched our house. We found out that on the 21st, I think it was, or the 20th, the county attorney in Wilbur, Saline County, filed a warrant against me for possession of a firearm, which is insane. I have never owned a firearm in 20 years. The next day, according to the papers, the warrant was withdrawn, but the Lincoln paper is not telling you that the warrant was withdrawn because there was no firearm in my house. But they will have you believe that. Several other things. I guess the FBI and the U.S. Marshals and all that good stuff, and a lot of other people with a lot of initials that I have no idea what means is investigating, looking for us or whatever. We were at our house 4 days ago. No one showed up. We were in Wilbur. We've been to Wilbur twice. We have a young lady with us for a week, which is Bailey's sometimes girlfriend. The Omaha police started calling her phone, telling her pretty much that she's in danger with us. So we took her home the day before Thanksgiving. She was with us when Bailey and I were trying to call the Lincoln Police Department. She can verify this if you want her name, I guess friend us and message us on Facebook, because as we know stuff, you will know stuff, because we're not cutting, editing, or anything. If we make a slip on this video and say something that you find incriminating, please let us know. And you've already crucified us in the newspapers. You've already crucified us on Facebook. In America, I sure thought it was a trial first, but I guess not. You've heard all of this stuff about my criminal history. All true. Been convicted of bad checks and forgery and all that good stuff, but never been convicted of anything like, I guess I'm a person of interest on now. And oh yeah, the Lincoln Police Department failed to tell you that me and Bailey do about $100,000 a year business in antiques on eBay, the antique malls in Lincoln, Omaha, all this stuff. They will have you believe that I'm still just a criminal running around. But I don't really need to explain all of that, because as far as I know, I'm not wanted for anything. I'm a person of interest, and I'm not really running from anything. I mean, naturally, I can't go home now because my house has been swarmed, searched, and I'm being looked for. And I assume that I have a warrant out of state somewhere now, so that kind of cancels that out. So this has pretty much cost me my life, and I appreciate that from the Lincoln Police Department and the FBI and all those other agencies. But I pray for Sydney. I hope she's found soon. Um, I wish the family the best. I'm sorry that she wasn't with you on Thanksgiving. And that's pretty much all I can say for now. Here's Bailey to tell you whatever she wants to. I'm fixing to step aside and get out of this. Thank you for listening.
Hi, good morning. I'm Bailey, Audrey on Tinder, and a few other names because I have warrants, but this really isn't about me. This is about Sydney, and I'm just kind of want to tell you what I've already told the Lincoln police more than one time. I met her on a Tuesday. We drove around Lincoln, smoked weed, had a great time. We hit it off. I dropped her off at home, picked her up the next night at her house. We drove around, smoked weed again, made our way to my house where we smoked wax and shatter, and I gave her a quarter ounce of some really good weed. I went to take her home, and she asked me to drop her off at a friend's house, so I did so. I gave her my number. We were planning to go to the casino that weekend. I haven't heard from her since. I really don't even know what else to say. I've been seeing all this stuff on the news presses and the magazines and the news, and I guess I just want the family to know that I'm truly sorry and I didn't have anything to do with this, and I hope that Sydney is found very soon. She is a sweet, amazing girl. I don't know. Babe, do you have anything else to say?
I hope also that Sydney's found soon. We wish the family the best. We're sorry you're going through this. As far as all this stuff that the police department is putting in the papers, putting on the news, what they're feeding to the media, what they want the media to know, um, there's nothing I can do about that. There's nothing she can do about that, because the police department is going to do what suits them best. Yeah, I know that's coming from a criminal, so you'll believe what you will as far as the police department is concerned. But as far as I'm concerned, what they're chasing us around like dogs, I wish the family the best. I mean, no disrespect to anyone. I wish Sydney the best. But as far as the police department, you.
Yeah.
Trail and Boswell would be arrested in Branson, Missouri, and when police would search Boswell's purse, they would find a list with women's names that had their powers next to it, such as Healer, Sees Danger, and Fire. By May of 2018, Trail and Boswell would confess to the murder of Loof, at first stating that they were trying to make a snuff film to sell. Then Trail would change his story, stating that during rough sex he accidentally choked Loof to death. Then later he would change his story again, stating that he killed her to protect the group after Loof refused to join. Murder for hire scheme. In 2021, Trail would go to trial where 3 former members would testify against him, one even stating that she believes Trail has murdered many people. On June 24, 2021, Trail would try to slit his own throat in the courtroom after yelling, "Bailey's innocent and I curse you all." It's been proven that he did this to try and cause a mistrial. Prosecutors would bring up that Trail got all of his ideas from Stephen King's Dr. Sleep. Trail would be found guilty and sentenced to death. Shortly after, Boswell would go to trial where psychologists would state that she suffered from PTSD due to previous abusive relationships and depression. Boswell would state that she only stayed with Trail and did what he said because she feared he would kill her daughter. Boswell would be found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. In 2023, a woman named Samantha Al-Rakabi was arrested and jailed for helping Trail in a murder for hire scheme. She helped him extort money from a prison nurse who wanted her husband dead. Al-Rakabi states that she was only in contact with Trail because she wanted to write a true crime book about him. But whether or not you believe that Trail and Boswell wanted to murder people or that Boswell was being controlled by a con man, you now know the basic facts of the Nebraska witch cult. Thanks for watching.